Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Monday evening, December 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the that's been like in your year recently, and leave a question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific year. I'll definitely try my best to answer those questions for you. Alright, so hurricane season is now over. There's no need to look at the 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook from the hurricane center, even though we can have some code yellows out there even after the end of hurricane season. But I'm sure that the hurricane center wouldn't be showing anything past November 30. There we go, no updates today, December 1. The last update is from 6:06 p.m. on November 30, and if everything goes according to plan without any kind of system trying to formulate outside of hurricane season, the next 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook from the hurricane center should start by mid-May, and then hurricane season starts in June. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we have a frontal system attached to an area of low pressure right here off the east coast of the US down into Florida, the Gulf. We can also see a trough right here to the north of Hispaniola, another trough right here extending from northeastern Caribbean all the way upward, and we see the red line associated with the intertropical convergence zone. That we know is basically where the air from the northern hemisphere meets the air from the southern hemisphere, and we have a lot of rising air cloud showers and thunderstorms. And we see that ridge of high pressure to the north that we also know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. Regarding the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, we can make out the clouds associated with that trough that we mentioned right here off the east coast of the US extending down to Florida, the Gulf, a lot of cloud showers and thunderstorms down in there. You can also see the clouds associated with that trough to the north of Hispaniola, that other trough right here, especially to the north of the Lesser Antilles. Clouds associated with the intertropical convergence zone, extending all the way from Africa across the southern main development region into northeastern South America. We can also make out the low level flow of the clouds being steered from east-west, if not east, northeast, west, southwest, from the main development region into the Caribbean, all courtesy of the ridges of high pressure to the north. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Monday, December 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast of parts of some northeastern parishes in Jamaica, as well as sections of some southern parishes in Jamaica on Monday afternoon. And we know northeastern parishes are basically talking about anywhere from St. Ann Eastern to St. Mary, Portland. Well, our southern parishes, we're referring to Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. And what ended up happening? A post was made at around 3:26 p.m. highlighting the visible satellite image, the visible close-up satellite image at that, of Jamaica, showing some clouds, bringing some overcast skies, if not some isolated shores, the section of the very areas that were predicted to get that rainfall, northeastern and some southern parishes. We definitely had some rainfall in the Ocho Rios area. We saw it on the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel. We had some clouds pushing into St. Mary and Portland as well. But the brunt of today's afternoon rainfall was across the south coast. We definitely had some moisture across sections of St. Thomas, into section of St. Andrew, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and even Westmoreland for sure. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before we lost sunlight, we can make out all of that flow. Look at that northeasterly flow of those clouds pushing into the northeast and also affecting sections of some southern parishes for the most part. Definitely gotten on some of the isolated shower activity before all was said and done with the day. And even the infrared close-up satellite imagery right here, confirming that convection, all of these blues into the greens, into the yellows, oranges, reds that represent some cumulonimbus cloud cover. Didn't see much in there. Sparkling white, that's to represent lightning strikes or lightning flashes. We're heading into December now, so we're losing the thunderstormy season in general. Won't see the thunderstorm season coming back until around, let's say, April, May next year. Won't be seeing much lightning at all, so I guess the thunderstorm season is definitely wrapping up as we speak. Not to say we can't get some thunderstorms outside of the thunderstorm season, but we know in the dry season, December all the way through to April, it's less likely. Regarding the Jamaican Doppler radar, still down for quite some time after Melissa. It's been down. I don't know if it's damaged or what, but it's not working properly. So we have to be dependent on the other Doppler radars or the satellite imagery. We can also depend on the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel. This is halfway through today at around 3:37 p.m. and we can see a lot of kids over here taking shelter. We can see that it was definitely wet. People walking around with their umbrellas for sure. Cars with their windshield wipers on for sure, to indicate that we're getting on some moderate rainfall in the halfway tree area this afternoon. And if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free, so subscribe today to this channel so that you don't miss out. That's See Jamaica on YouTube. Regarding the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint quite the picture, for we had that rainfall today across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. More so northeastern, central, and western parishes for sure. And if we take a look at some of the comments that came in here from some of our followers about what the weather is like in their area today, let us zoom in a bit. So we had Akeem Spence stating, got caught in it in Kingston, so them not too off. Them not too off. Okay, it must be new here. We're hardly wrong here over at Weather Jamaica. And let me not toot my own horn. Sometimes we get it wrong. Sometimes these models are incorrect. You have Marcia Roach stating, currently raining in both Savannah, St. Elizabeth. Or Melda Princess Taylor stating, you got that correct. I'm guessing she got rainfall in her area. Marcia Freeman stating, yes, nice cool down in Christiana, Manchester. Thank you all for confirming what the weather was like in your area for today. Regarding our TikTok page, we had a comment right here from Comment Section Association. Never lie, we getting rain here now in Portmore. Thank you for confirming as well. Alright, so let us reload the very latest still image from the Weather News website. The latest, well, we don't have the latest Jamaican Doppler radar, so we have to use the latest Cuban Doppler radar, the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar as well. Because the Cayman radar is down, the Jamaican Doppler radar is still down. So the latest still image from the Weather News website is showing 23:55 UTC, which is actually 6:55 p.m. So this just came out 9 minutes ago, considering that it is 7:04 p.m. right now. And as you can see, the island starting to clear out from today's rainfall activities. We have some whitish shades across the northeast, south central, southeast. We also see some whitish shades to the southwest of us. We even see convection bursts right here in the blues and greens. I'm sure we have some rain bands down there to the south of us, or to the southwest of us. The Jamaica, well, the Cuban Doppler radar image only goes out to 5:50 p.m. It is what, 7:05 p.m. right now, so it is a bit glitched out. It's a bit delayed by an hour or so. And as you can see here, it's definitely showing where we have that rainfall, those rain bands to the southwest of us. The greens into the yellows that may represent moderado, that's moderate rainfall. Fuerte, that's heavy rainfall. Definitely in line with these clouds that we're seeing to the southwest of us for sure. So even although it's 1 hour late, it's definitely showing us that rainfall. The Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar is also confirming that rainfall right here between Jamaica and Haiti. We're going to be stopping it right about there, the latest Doppler radar right in there. It is showing the time 23:47 UTC, which is actually 6:47 p.m. At that time we saw the blues into the greens between Haiti and Jamaica. They represent some light to moderate rainfall. Nothing across Portland though. And as stated, Cayman radar is down. Regarding the live camera right here from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, showing the Bogwalk Gorge. Let's get this in HD. As you can see, all these big trucks going across, people in their vehicles, you know, going across Nothing in the way of bad weather taking place at this time. Definitely fair conditions, and that should be the order of the evening into the night. And if we rewind, we can see we might have had some rainfall affecting the area for sure. See that the road is a bit wet to indicate that we got some rainfall earlier. So let's backtrack and see if we can find the exact time when it got, when it was raining. Definitely soaking wet at about 2:59. So I'm guessing maybe an hour or two earlier is when we had that rainfall. Hold on, where is it? Where is it? Ah, there we go. Look at that. They were getting on some heavy rainfall. Looks like moderate to heavy rainfall at around 2:05 p.m. Got that almost blinding windshield wipers definitely on. I mean, look at over there. Can barely see that side. Excuse me. So they definitely got some decent rainfall in this part of St. Catherine earlier today. And as of right now, nothing in the way of bad weather. That should be the order of the evening into the night. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay and Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Tuesday, temperature should dip down to about 23 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. This map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Tuesday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Tuesday. We can see Jamaica right here embedded in the grays that represents average temperatures. I know the average temperatures for the month of December across Jamaica is around 87 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 30.5 degrees Celsius. So that should be Jamaica's temperature forecast for Tuesday. And JPS still working hard to get everybody connected back to the grid. They reposted this post here from Jean in Tribley, if I'm not butchering that name. She stated, JPS working very hard on the stretch from Plantation Cove to St. Anne's Bay. Many new poles have been put up. Impressive work in days. Cannot wait to get my pour back. I feel like it's on the countdown now. Wow, that's good. I hope everybody gets connected before Christmas, but maybe not everybody at all, because boy, Melissa did the place so bad. But regardless that, we don't have any maintenance outage advisories here in the east to worry about. We have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. So if tomorrow is still going to be a bit too hot for you, it states here that you are supposed to dress down, wear lightweight clothing, and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions, and pets. Be cool, stay indoors, and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugary drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and what's within those reds. We can see the dry air extending from Africa across the northern main development region into the Caribbean. We have some dry air. Definitely have some dry air in the yellows across the Gulf into the Bahamas. We know that the dry air is responsible for keeping the atmosphere stable, shutting it down in general, making it harder for it to rain. And it's the dry season now. The dry season across the basin, the Caribbean basin at that, especially Jamaica, runs from December through to April. So definitely have less rainfall to get. And regarding the Saharan dust forecast, we can see that there's not much Saharan dust expected. We're heading into December 2, December 3, and December 4. And as you can see here, some slight Saharan dust pushing off of Africa, but nothing vigorous. We don't see any crazy yellows, oranges, and pinks. There's some slight Saharan dust pushing into the main development region. And as you can see, the more it pushes westward or west-southwestward, the more it dwindles down to nothing. And we're grateful for that, because you know that the Saharan dust can definitely cause hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons. Regarding the wave forecast for tomorrow, across the Caribbean, we're seeing a mixture of light shades of blues to blues, that presents anywhere from 0.5 for meter wave height all the way up to 1, maybe up to 1.5 meter wave height. And that is because of the winds that are expected. We clearly see an easterly, if not an east-northeasterly flow of the winds averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 up to 15 knots at most. And if we zoom in on Jamaica's wave forecast for tomorrow, to the north of Portland, 1 meter wave height expected. To the north of St. Anne, 1 meter wave height expected. To the north of Hanover, 0.7 for meter wave height expected. To the south of Westmoreland, 0.4 for meter wave height expected. To the south of Clarendon, 0.5 for meter wave height expected. While to the south of St. Thomas, 0.9 of a meter wave height expected. And that is because of the winds that are expected. You can clearly see that to the north of Portland, to 5-knot winds from the east, to the north of St. Anne, 8-knot winds from the east. Definitely some weak winds, especially on the south coast, right here, wherever we have the blues. That is where we have the weakest winds. That is where we could have some of these low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds, upper-level winds coming in from the north, northeast tomorrow. So, unlike today, where when we had some afternoon of rainfall, we had some cloud toss being sheared off to a direction like this, maybe towards the southeast in a sense. Tomorrow is going to be something more like this from the northeast, and that is what is expected. So that could definitely favor more of that rainfall across sections of some southern parishes. And if we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS, they're both valid for 7 a.m. on Tuesday, and we can clearly see the blues represent rainfall across the north coast for sure. So we're especially talking about sections of St. Anne, St. Mary getting in on some of that rainfall, so too sections of maybe eastern Portland getting in on some of that rainfall too, and we clearly see that on both the Euro and the GFS models. While the afternoon hours now, so that was 7 a.m. now we're looking at 3 p.m. and as you can see, we're seeing some blues represent rainfall across sections of some eastern, central and western parishes on both maps. So maybe sections of St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrews, St. Catherine, northern Clarendon, sections of St. Anne, Trelawney, northern Manchester, northern St. Anne, sections of St. James, eastern Hanover and northeastern Westmoreland getting on some of the action. We can clearly see that rainfall across eastern, central, western parishes on the Euro, so it's a bit more robust on the Euro. GFS a bit less, more so in the inland areas of some central western parishes, as well as the southeast. We'll see how it plays out. Maybe I shall get some rainfall in my part of St. Thomas. Only time will tell what will really take place. And if we take a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the next 24 hours, both map charts here from the Euro and the GFS are in agreement that there should be some amount of rainfall somewhere in Jamaica. The Euro going up to at least, the yellows represent 0.25, maybe 0.3 of an inch of rainfall. GFS going up to at least 0.32 of an inch of rainfall in the Portland area. It could be more than that, it could be less than that. We'll see it actually plays out. And whatever happens, we just have to take it. We're in the month of December. And we're in the month of December. And in Manchester, we usually receive we're in the month of December, and in Manchester we usually receive 27 millimeters of rainfall this month. That's about the same as 1.1 inch of rainfall. While in St. Thomas we usually receive 89 millimeters of rainfall. That's about the same as 3.5 inches of rainfall. And if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of December, you can visit nomadseason.com and that website to show that information. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go out to the next 168 hours. That stands for the next 7 days. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows and the greens represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. Alright, so we're going to be looking at 12Z on Wednesday. As you know, 12Z on Wednesday is actually 7 a.m. We already looked at Tuesday's forecast, and it's interesting that we are seeing a lot of moisture across the Windward Islands right here, extending from the southern Mediterranean region all the way into anywhere from Martinique southward, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados. Don't really see much of anything across Jamaica for Wednesday morning. Then on Wednesday afternoon, maybe some isolated showers across the southwest. What does the GFS show for the same time period? Wednesday morning, a lot of moisture down there in the Windward Islands. We're also seeing some moisture to the north of Jamaica. And then we fast forward to Thursday morning. As a matter of fact, did I look at Wednesday afternoon? No, I didn't. Regarding Wednesday afternoon, nothing at all. What do we see on Thursday morning? Maybe some rainfall across the northeast. Then on Thursday afternoon, rainfall across some eastern, southern and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Thursday morning, rainfall across the northern and eastern parishes. Thursday afternoon, rainfall across some eastern parishes. What do we see on Friday morning? On Friday morning, we're seeing rainfall across the northern parishes. On Friday afternoon, we're seeing rainfall across second to some eastern, central, and western parishes. What do we see on the GFS for Friday morning? Friday morning, just like the year, rainfall across the northern parishes. Friday afternoon, rainfall across section of some central and western parishes. What do we see on Saturday morning? On Saturday morning, maybe some rainfall across the eastern end of the island. On Saturday afternoon, we're seeing some rainfall across section of some central and western parishes. And regarding what the GFS is showing, Saturday morning, rainfall to the east of us, rainfall to the south of us. Then on Saturday afternoon, we're seeing some rainfall across some northern and western parishes. What do we see on the Sunday morning time frame on the Euro? Sunday morning, rainfall across the eastern end, rainfall to the southeast of us. Sunday afternoon, rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. And we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Monday, December 8th. We don't see much of anything across Jamaica, but we do see the greens represent the moisture to the south of us, to the west of us. What does the GFS show? Sunday morning, rainfall south of us. Sunday afternoon, what do we see? Some rainfall to the west of us and to the south of us, and we're stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours as well. So this is also valid for Monday, December 8th. Monday, December 8th. And what do we see? We see some moisture to the south of us right there. Very interesting. The Euro was showing some moisture to the southwest of us, but nothing really significant, nothing trying to develop, definitely dry season settings. That's what it looks like. And in terms of the total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that the most rainfall of the next 7 days should be wherever we have the dark reds into the purples into the pinks. I mean, a lot of rainfall is looking to come to the way of the Windward Islands: Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname. I mean, that's a lot of rainfall. We see a lot of it across eastern Honduras, eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, and Colombia. Section of the ABC Islands getting on some of that action too. I don't know, all of that represents the 2 all the way up to the 5 inches of rainfall range that could trigger some amount of isolated flash flooding. And we're seeing some of that here on the Euro as well. So those areas could definitely get, you know, some isolated flash flooding for sure. While other areas that are shaded in the green, dealers, oranges, and reds represents an inch or less of rainfall. Those areas right here across the Bahamas, the Greater Antilles, the Lesser Antilles, that's the rainfall that they could get. We're talking about from now up until Monday, December 8th. And if we take a look at the Jamaica Doppler radar imagery, well, not Doppler radar, the Jamaica total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are in agreement that the most rainfall over the next 7 days should be across the northeast. There's not much change at all. Both the Euro and the GFS models are adamant that from now up until Monday, December 8th, the most rainfall should be in the northeast. So anywhere from St. Anne eastward, St. Mirren to Portland, section of St. Thomas getting in on some of the action. And we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with that. Regarding what's happening across the rest of the Caribbean basin, not really much taking place. As stated, the troughs and all the clouds to the northeast of the Lesser Antilles. Regarding the Doppler radar imagery down there, what's taking place? We're seeing some hit or miss isolated showers to the north of Puerto Rico, to the southwest of there. Some hit or miss isolated showers in and around the Leeward Islands as well. And if we take a look at where the rainfall is expected, right here, we can see some rainfall right here, just to the east of Dominica, to the east of Martinique, sections of the waters to the east of Trinidad and Tobago getting on some rainfall. Regarding the weather wave Doppler radar images, some rainfall here near Belize, some rainfall across Colombia, passing through the ABC Islands, northwestern and eastern Venezuela getting on some of that moisture. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are in agreement that within the next 24 hours, there should definitely be some amount of rainfall right here across sections of Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, section of Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Western Venezuela, Southern Venezuela, Eastern Venezuela, section of Guyana, Suriname. We also see some rainfall into Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, sections of St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, so too sections of maybe St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, Puerto Rico, sections of Haiti and Dominican Republic. There's some isolated shores at that. Section of southeastern Cuba, western Cuba, the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, and we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS modes are in agreement with that forecast. Alright, so the Eastern Pacific is done. Regarding the Western Pacific, we're still watching the leftovers of Tropical Storm Koto. It's now back to a tropical depression. We're also watching a new code yellow right here just to the east of the Philippines. So something that is unlikely to develop within the next 24 hours, but it bears watching just in case it becomes a code orange or a code red. We're also seeing something across the southern Pacific Ocean right here to the far east of Australia. Very interesting. We also have to watch that for sure. But regarding the leftovers of Tropical Storm Koto, it's right here spinning away to the east of Vietnam. Not really looking impressive at all on satellite, just some low-level clouds swirling around. And regarding the latest here from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, it is now packing 30 knot winds, so that makes it a tropical depression. And as you can see here, it's expected to continue pushing southwestward, and basically, almost paralleling the coast, eventually maybe possibly making landfall, but definitely weakening as it does so. Regarding the impact that the system has had on, well, the system that made landfall into Sri Lanka has had on that era. The update here, 366 people are dead, 367 are missing. My goodness. Even my footage right here of a house collapsing because of landslides. By God, that's one of my biggest fears. Can you imagine being in your house and your area just collapses because of a landslide? We're also getting the updated death toll regarding Indonesia. 503 people dead with 508 people missing because they were lashed by that tropical depression for sure. Boy, all of these places in Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Thailand, Sri Lanka, they've been getting lashed. These things do happen when it comes to these tropical systems. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.